can win it out through sheer map control and presence in the center of the map.
Yeah, the Phobius is going to be the last pick. So this, hold on a minute. This
willing to fight this out. Looks good for both, but looks just a little bit better for ONIC Philippines with the trades that they're getting.
Yep, and flicker out from Randy. Had to really be careful. If he gets swiped back or blocked by a rampart, that is a high chance that he ends up going down. So, and Randy still ends up going in. Just went dark wave pool. This is the first little angle. So barely gets up. A trick is long. Now has to use the vengeance to stay alive. Onto the limiter he goes, but now he's trapped. Randy pulls him back one last time. First blood for Suelo.
Phovia's perfect pick right now, but EVOS are not stopping. Continuing the onslaught here, they've completely taken control of this portion of the game.
Right, he also loves the extended fight. More so when he gets to refresh his abilities. To get the pullback onto Brusco, the feather airstrike, not enough. But at least they get to trace Suelo back. The last salvo from Super Prince did come true.
Delay what it can do or minimize its impact in the map.
Even the feather airstrike again, this time Suelo dying the second time in quick succession. Just came back to the map in time for the turtle. ONIC Philippines now have priority. Another rampart. Albert has the traces away, turns around with the turtle bow, tries to take down Kirk, but Kirk vengeance! Oh, just plays hopscotch into the hands of Randy, who was waiting. King Kong does get the turtle, and now on full retreat, Key trying to catch up, but Randy actually missed the flicker. Try and catch up to King Kong, another thorn roll, a dark wave pullback. Randy is relentless. They're gonna try and stop in the rampart from Brusco, but Randy's slightly out of range. Doesn't matter though, Super Friends still blast him with the feather airstrike.
Got that last mark up on the butterfly from Juicin, and he was closer to his own turret.
Yeah. Once you get lifted up, Purify doesn't really work anymore, so the timing has to be precise. Randy forced to commit, and then Tectonic Charge, the final slash to commit everything to make sure that Randy doesn't get anything done. Turtle boat is going to be available for Albert. Now this objective harder to work on. Brusco gets lifted back, but no damage from EVOS for now. It allows Kirk to slightly walk on forward. Here comes the conceal. They land a turtle boat, which does miss. Brusco now in the midst of everything. AOG from Key doesn't get anything done. And Kelra now in the midst of things. Key still alive, and Albert gets the turtle. Now ready to collect some bodies on the way out. But ONIC PH are gonna disengage.
Excellent fight by both, but you see the sheer presence of the Uranus and the Phobius together. Of course, Randy pulling the trigger a little bit early there. Flicker forward.
They find King Kong. Albert now needs to run away. The Tracer's on cooldown, and Kelra will find the trade back. But now he's in no man's land, lifted up by Suelo. Erlan on top of him and just takes him down with the Cosmos power. Kirk not able to do much to Erlan. This Uranus is still durable at this point of time. And even forces Super Prince to use that wings by wings to get away.
Oh, very tough every fight here for ONIC Philippines. Kelra even with a little bit
available. He did have to expend his ult early, but when he comes back off cooldown, then he's gonna be able to continue to put pressure onto ONIC Philippines. Now a final slash from Kirk. Good stuff. Suelo is straight up gone, and Kirk makes the great escape. EVOS.
Now EVOS can just keep this up. It's their ball to drop.
Yep. And let's see how much power play they can make with this lore. Albert's gonna work on the top tier 2, not a problem. And good dodge from Suelo. That Tectonic would have been an impactful one if it connected, but just pure sense there. The AOG was committed up top, and Kirk tried to be the hero, but it's not his time just yet. Play from EVOS doesn't really constitute too much damage to the base, and ONIC should be able to hold on. Another rampart put out. They get the lift back onto Brusco, pull him out, and a commit in the mid lane inhibitor. Key ends up going down. EVOS wanted to force the structure, but cannot get it.
Entry of the AOG, but I think at that point that was just a little bit more of a consolation for Key just to get an assist, because pretty much Albert won that.
Yeah, I mean, AOG comes in from Key as he joins his team. King Kong now on the run. Randy does get isolated. Kirk ends up going down again. Now Randy is going to play Bounce House. The passive shield is up. Randy stalling for longer than he should have. They ended up losing Kelra in the process. So
through sheer team fighting alone.
And they definitely have the resource to do that. King Kong has to clear them the wave because like Randy and Suelo has been holding that wave for the longest of time. AOG used point blank. Oh, Prince had the flicker out. They use the Mountain Shocker, so vision is granted to EVOS. They can now go on the chase. Another pullback into a drag back. They have so much ground control. Brusco cannot move as this Grok is straight up gone. Kirk follows. Kelra explodes, and King Kong left to fend for his own life to Phantom Execution to get out. There's a minion wave that he can constantly. King Kong will be the main source of, you know, Lord clearing. Get the knockback, and Randy being very patient. AOG now comes in, hits on a tree. Key finds a follow-up taunt, instant response to Purify. Kelra needs to get out of there as the Lord finally gets taken down. And EVOS decided to stick around a little bit longer with King Kong around. He should be able to use that Thorn Rose to start clearing out the wave and poking at EVOS.
No!
And they get the Rampart. Flicker from Randy. He's out of the fight, but Brusco is the one that ends up going down. So EVOS gets the
Fight
win.
or dashes into a fight. There's so much crowd control that he needs to try and time his Phantom Execution and Thorn Rose for.
Ryan had to use the Purify, and Key is straight up
Key.
in the face of Prince. Oh, Brusco doesn't hit the Tectonic Charge, and Kirk, he's in no man's land. Really wanted to be patient with that potential hero play, but ends up getting found instead, and EVOS have a free Lord to take.
Picks such as the Granger and then fighters for Kelra later on.
Maybe the King Kong Joy and the Kelra Beatrix might do the work, but they have to get through this defense first. Prince just unleashes that, ends up getting ran down by Randy. It's a 1-for-1 so far. The lore is still fairly healthy, but with Kirk down and Kelra about to drop, is looking pretty bleak, but Kelra somehow stays alive. They should give them enough ammunition to deal with the Lord. King Kong has done his absolute best.
Waves!
Now punching down the crystal. Kelra really need to take him down, but just does not have enough firepower. Erlan powers through it. And game 1 for EVOS in this lower bracket finals.
Now, though, they go for the Esmeralda, and they took an even equally more honest approach. It's like, okay, it was every team fight.
Yeah. Of all the Obsidian games I've seen in recent times, definitely hasn't given me the best impression. You know, like even the Indonesian team a week plus ago ran the Obsidia and it just got rolled over. Let's see if Kelra can make magic happen. But for now, focus is on the Turtles. Gonna be dropping down low. Good secure this time. Under the efforts of Kirk and first blood for King Kong, Key ends up going down. They send Kelra back to the bottom lane with the diversion. Key's gonna stand in the bush and now instantly just hops onto Brusco. But there are 4 men of ONIC PH around, so not really the best time to full commit. EVOS starts working on the Turtle. Not gonna be easy though with ONIC PH around.
Yeah, we go for the reset. Oh, Key!
Flickers across the wall. Hunter Bone doesn't connect, but Key still ends up going down to the electrifying beats. And now the good tectonic charge from Brusco. Massive setup. Albert finds one, but a one is all he gets. And ONIC Philippines finds a big team fight win. Randy on the run. Kelra tries to run him down, but still 4 bodies drop for EVOS, and ONIC with his abilities can pierce through multiple targets. He's gonna once again stand in the bush. The duality trying to build Super Friends out, but this time he finishes the job, just cleaves him in half.
One of the difficult things to do if you're just trying to take control of the middle of the map and you're up against a Hilda and Lunox, there's a high risk that you're just gonna be blasted if you are a squishier member of the lineup. That's what happened. King Kong in trouble.
He's gonna be able to get away. They turn on the Randy with the Throne of Ruin. Randy gets locked down. Harpoon up by Kelra. And that's the execution. I believe Kelra has Sky Piercer in hand. Key about to explode. The Super Prince with the takedown. Kirk still once more forces out the
But because they are operating under the global ban system, ONIC can just continue this now as the gap continues to grow.
Another tectonic charge into duality. Those AoVs are just too much. That's 32 bodies drop for EVOS. King Kong once more. Suelo able to just hop away with the darkening. Sadly for EVOS, there really isn't much they can do in the situation. Kirk is just gonna tank that aggro from the turret. They bring Kelra in. Stuck Erlan back. Another bulwark. Knockback. Erlan forced to use to purify. Kelra doesn't get the finisher just yet. But those Sky Piercer stacks are starting to stack up. There's 20 stacks on Kelra if I'm not mistaken. So the later this game goes, the more dangerous it is for the front lines of EVOS. Randy not really sure if you want to stay there. Kelra in threshold. And Randy barely gets out. Bulwark put up by Brusco. Suelo able to get away, but the diversion on top.
See if it will be endable for them, or if EVOS just has enough farm for Albert, who is only level 13 against the King Kong's 15. Suelo also was not able to get that good of a game. So all odds in favor of ONIC to win it with this, or maybe the next one.
I think your question has been answered. Albert got solo killed. Another tectonic charge. Erlan cannot stand much. That's the 30th Sky Piercer stack. Make it 40 for Kelra. The biggest goalie we have seen today for a single team. Key is going to get erased instantly as King Kong hops in the fountain and escapes him. And it's just 4 Maniac for Kelra. ONIC Philippines equalizes this lower bracket finals. It's 1-1.
Oh,
This is just him being confident, right? It's gonna be mechanically intensive for Kelra to really navigate around what EVOS has brought to the table, but we've seen him. I feel like the YSS is going to be always like the focal point, right? The further he gets ahead, the better it is. Oh, first one already! Brusco and Kirk with the invade. Albert ends up going down. He did secure his purple.
Look outside of the team fights and look at what you do in the map. Non-stop disruption by this Hilda and Brusco. Hilda and Joe, look at Kirk just run towards Albert.
There is the shadow kill, and did Albert get the buff? Oh, Suelo got the buff. They still lost Key, but there's a free turtle for ONIC Philippines. EVOS will be the ones to work on the turtle first, as Randy tries to hold back Kirk, but he's already past the front lines, and now Brusco finds the kick. Albert needs to pick a lane, does get the turtle and get out. King Kong zone away by Key as Brusco gets lashed on by Randy. He's gonna just Jit Kundo his way to safety. Get a two-man bubble from Suelo. Good disengage from EVOS. Kelra joins the fight. Albert in danger. The execution comes through from Erlan, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade.
Fighting back, and they're showing that they can still fight this through despite the very difficult early game that Albert had. Kelra!
And Kelra, this is going to be dangerous. Erlan so close to Sky Piercer. The Beetle blocks the final shot. Kelra actually gets out because of that. He might have to pay the price. Brusco with the kick and Super Frizz with the lantern does the job. And such an unfortunate circumstance.
Winning from Kelra and Super Frizz respectively. Now EVOS though still showing that despite the slowly growing lead, look at the damage from this Hilda.
Kirk just, the axe made of titanium just cuts right through the grok.
More towards ONIC Philippines really just taking control of this. Kirk still man-marking Albert all throughout the map. Now unless EVOS can get an initial pick off, well they might find it.
They get Kirk's flicker out. That's step number 1. At least he can't just threaten the back line, but a flicker kick on to Randy. Good response from Key, and that's King Kong dead. Albert with the shadow kill finds himself Brusco. Kelra now will have to play to the max, but Suelo survives. And that's King Kong. He had a clean slate, right? No kills, no deaths. Kirk didn't have his flicker because he used it, so he eats everything from EVOS, and that's a guaranteed kill. Erlan cashing in on his second Sky Piercer stack. Brusco and King Kong finds Albert, but Erlan is here. They root up his target, and Erlan is just firing away. Brusco on the run, forced to use to conceal.
For the White Tigers, the Porcupines now trying to find a turnaround, but they are now feeling the reason as to why they needed to take control of it right away. Brusco giving away a kill he just won. Gonna be a big sandwich split though for ONIC here.
He'll be late to contest the Lord, and Kirk, he's already committed everything. And unfortunately has to flicker away. Tectonic Charge as a response, and that's good enough. Another execution, that's the 50th stack for Erlan. He needs three more kills to get to the max, and EVOS have the tools to deliver it onto him. Randy sticks on the Super Frizz, gonna drag him back into the hands of EVOS. That's 6 kills for Erlan right now. He is out of control, and ONIC Philippines have completely lost the plot in this game. There's really nothing much.
As it has completely slipped out of the hands of ONIC. How will they make a comeback? Let's see if EVOS can end it.
Oh my goodness, I think they have already set that into motion. What a traction pulse into a shadow kill. Super Frizz straight up removed. 30 seconds without the Monster Mage. EVOS can do some considerable damage. Even consider ending the game. Key again. Point. Just a single target. Tectonic Charge. Kelra getting just sliced to ribbons. EVOS would power through ONIC Philippines, and all it took was one bad fight, and EVOS turned the game around. It's 2-1 in the lower bracket finals for the White Tigers.
It's a Suyo. Because there's not a lot of magic damage on the side of ONIC PH besides the Juice and Gata Gacha, the Suyo actually
Kong and taking him out of the fight.
They're going to need to do that if they want a little bit easier time here, but you don't need to because Randy, look at single-handedly zoning out King Kong.
He's going to get that damage reduction from the Throne of Ruin. King Kong even had to trace us back just in case. Albert, though, not having the exact same experience. Kirk jumps him, and that will be Super Frizz getting that first blood. They do trade Brusco in return, and Suelo gets a double kill. Double lift back from Super Frizz. Key is going to jump onto him. Randy able to get away. Kelra now joins with the blazing duet. Suelo out of position. No flicker. Kelra will collect the kill, and Erlan now looks for a trade. Key able to solo King Kong, and Erlan guns down both Prince and Kelra. EVOS essentially gets a delayed team wipe. They should be able to walk away with the turtle. Good stuff from Albert. They still want to fight. Kirk and Brusco hold the front.
Albert the boots. He went for the Jerkin, then the Fury Hammer, and then the Sky Piercer.
Suelo is he caught with his hands. Brusco is already so low, and the glowing one makes it even harder for him to kind of find his way in. Randy can just stand there. Throne of Ruin gets used because King Kong walks over with the free turtle because Albert wasn't there. They will have to sacrifice Brusco.
V5 will be able to get there very quickly. It is Expanding River, so let's see who'll get this one.
Randy gets brought back into a taunt. Does use the Throne of Ruin. The damage reduction enough. He flickers to get a 3-man control. Still ends up going down though. Brusco in dangerous territory. Good final slash from Kirk. And that's the response we want from ONIC Philippines.
Without that much of a contention from EVOS, unless they can get here just in time, can they pierce the front line?
And Randy is going to make the initiative. King Kong with the secure. Another blazing duet final slash. Look at the damage. Suelo just removed from the fight. Kelra doing everything
third
right.
place and second place respectively, but they want to make it to the grand finals first before thinking about that moolah. Lord marching in, EVOS, let's see how they'll be able to defend this. They do have an even Granger with them.
Things spiraling out of control. The Throne of Ruin damage reduction just gets chewed through by King Kong. He will still save the top inhibitor, although there is a fresh wave coming in, and without Randy, it's a 4v5. And on the Philippines comes in with the AOG. Brusco still grabs Key. Key's gonna grab him back underneath the turret. Brusco will go down, and that's Sky Piercer to Erlan, but at the cost of an inhibitor in the top lane. So still, and I think that is gonna keep haunting him because of how far ONIC PH are ahead. AOG comes in, Randy gets caught, and he's gone.
That is it. Unless a miracle comes in for EVOS, and ONIC PH are going to be on the way to forcing Game 5. Here's the conceal.
And they are just 4-minute final slash. Kirk, the architect, sets it up for ONIC Philippines. And you're damn right, Redmar. I think a Game 5 is in order. The EVOS have basically exhausted all of their options, and from this point onwards, it's the ONIC show, man. It's ONIC time.
What a play by Kirk. King Kong, Brusco, Kelra, and Super Friends, the conceal of their own EVOS. Can they actually hold on?
One last attempt, a slam from the spear of Kirk sets up for Super Friends to take them all down, and ONIC Philippines takes us the full distance. It's Game 5, baby. Granger would be so much harder, but Quad gives them the insurance. So, I mean, the late game scaling for EVOS is actually pretty nasty, right? Claude and Yi Sun Shin, that's how it is. I mean, this Phobius is going to be the make or break for EVOS.
Still a slow start here. A lot of aggression in the mid, as expected. Oh, Super Friends so low.
The lift out key should go down. The passive keeps him alive just for a bit longer, but doesn't really matter.
Might end up becoming the trade here for ONIC.
ONIC right on the scene. XP lane is at level 4. Super Friends Crimson Beacon is available. I don't think EVOS is going to even have a chance to get this turtle, but let's see if they can at least get a kill on the Kirk. Not a problem there. Randy secures it, but King Kong will get the turtle. Suelo steals the glorious pathway. They go in. A 2-man pull again. Randy flickers forward, gets the commitment, but Brusco is going to go down. Albert with the secure. Super Friends comes in with the Crimson Beacon. Only gets a lift up on the one, but doesn't have the damage supplement. So King Kong will be called in. A good taunt. Key with the lockdown. And Kirk to chase Albert with the Bravest Fighter. Flickers back over the wall on the keys. Suelo will escape and has no mana to work with. And Randy should eventually go down. This is Flying Cloud. So ONIC PH back in the fight with a snap.
ONIC wanted to get out. They used the glorious pathway of the high loss stolen away by Suelo to go for the chase.
Friends gonna try and run away with the Flicker Crimson Beacon. AOG even committed, and Super Friends escape. Can't say the same for Brusco though. Albert cuts him in half, but does allow EVOS to go for the reset, and Key can rejoin the fight when he wants. AOG still not up yet though, as Albert gets the extra cooldown with the boost. Suelo gets locked down, immobilized. AOG comes in. Suelo able to get away with the dash and the Flicker committed too, and now Randy will hold the front. 3-man pullback. Randy on this Phobius is a menace. Continues to hold as he flickers away to safety himself. Super Friends with the lift back. Kelra on the case. Randy again pulls him back into the Inferno Pursuit. He is still going. Randy refuses to go down. And now it's Brusco to tank. Randy back in with it. And finally taken out by Brusco in this long extended fight.
Suelo getting away from that, initially becoming an Obsidian cosplay. Brusco and Kelra starting the process here. Kirk needs to show up and try to get some crowd control. Here comes King Kong.
AOG into Inferno Pursuit, only knock out the Brusco, and that's not good enough as Randy now will eventually go down to Kelra. Blazing Duet committed by Erlan, but remember the ONIC PH takes it in the face. He also goes down as well. King Kong picks up the second, and the turtle Crimson Beacon now gets used. Erlan cannot stay in the fight.
Good attempt to start things off here for EVOS, but with King Kong already up to a Malefic Roar, this might be it. Look at the damage of this Fanny. We just said it, he just built up the Malefic Roar. In the opposite part of the map, concealed play coming in for the orange buff.
Brusco lays on the carpet. They instantly turn on to Randy. They lock him down with the harpoon. Randy just cannot do anything. With Randy out of the picture, ONIC Philippines will strike even harder. They find a second one. The ball on the floor. Oh, Albert. His best effort is not enough, though. Assassinated in the very end by King Kong. And Erlan, he's all alone. Super Prince, they just lock him out from the base. King Kong, here he comes. And Brusco will help him out. Super Prince
time. But EVOS are not going to go down without a fight.
Mountain Shocker, Turtle Boat, Brusco lays out the carpet. Suelo will lay out his one as well, but Brusco is so tanky. Randy chases Clara away. Albert not able to get the Lord. It's going to be King Kong with the secure, and now they're trying to turn around the AOG to cut off the escape route. Randy is already gone. EVOS needs something in return, and they will trade Brusco for it. Up. Let's see how much more damage ONIC can do. King Kong is going to casually steal the purple buff away first from EVOS' jungle. Kelra's damage is really starting to add up. Key might have to just full send this Crimson Beacon. Stolen run. King Kong right in it. Key escapes with the AOG. Randy able to pull Kirk back. Blazing Divide is in. Randy back in it. Kirk is down. The top inhibitor does fall. And maybe the price that ONIC pays is a couple of bodies. The Hunter Bow connects onto Key. Randy able to stop Kelra in his tracks. EVOS though, they have
lots of minions crashing in here in favor of ONIC, and they don't want to allow that to happen. ONIC now finds a member.
Randy gets locked down. He even committed the Inferno Pursuit, so he is straight up in danger zone. The backup comes in on time, but the execution of the Sky Piercer takes out Randy. And Super Prince flickers forward with the Crimson Beacon. Also catches Erlan on the BMI way out. Super Prince has just found a triple kill. And King Kong escorting the way up top. This is going to be lights out for EVOS as ONIC Philippines extended all the way, only to give a maniac to Super Prince, and they are off to the grand finals for a rematch with Destiny against Versatile Time.